got the grinder mentality. I grind for the feeling. I'm a real ass nigga. These niggas, they counterfeit it. Staying true to my religion, they thinking that I'm a Christian. Mama thinking I'm a villain, but I'm expressing my feelings.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rich Mentality Podcast. What's good? Hey, drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all feeling, man. You know, it's been a while. It's been a minute. Actually, it hasn't been a while. It hasn't been a minute. It's been about 2 weeks. You know, I've been working on this course. You know, I've been working on my own issues, my own things, and I'm not gonna call it issues. Let's not put power to words, but for the most part, I just been working on my own things. Like I said, such as this course, I've been revamping my clothing line. Doing more research, more studies, and just trying to get to it, man. Because we all have to get to it. We all have to maintain that rich mentality. But enough about myself. Like I said, y'all drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all been doing. Let me know how y'all been feeling. Just drop anything. If you got a t-shirt coming out, if you got a book coming out, let me know. I want to hear it. I want to see it. And we're gonna go from there. So that's enough of that jazz. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to start off with these two topics, right? And honestly, this is not the topic of the day. This is just how I feel. Like, this is just something that's just been in my spirit, something that I actually feel, and I feel like I want to let that off to you guys. So, number one, I feel like a lot of us get caught into this thing of not chasing the dream, but chasing the people. So, chase the dream, but don't chase the people. Well, what do you mean, Reno? Well, what I mean is that when you chasing the dream, you're investing. You are, taking what you're trying to do to the next level. You're researching, you're studying, you're reading, whatever the case is to get you to that point or that level, in life to where you're closer to your dream. But what we tend to do is misconstrue chasing the dream with chasing people, with people who we think or feel have the keys to our success, people who we think or feel can let us into this door or let us into a place of where we think that we're going to become successful just by, hanging on to them like a keychain or, going into the same room. They're not God. They just a human being. They bleed just like you and I. They put on their pants just like you and I. So don't chase people, chase the dream. Everything that's going to come inside or come with this dream is going to, it's going to come with it. Like everything that you're going to do to chase this dream and, invest into this dream, it's going to come with it, good and bad. But don't chase the person. The person is low-hanging fruit. The person could tell you anything. The person can, withhold your career. I mean, you see it happen all the time. People get in record labels, or they sign the wrong book deal, or they sign the wrong 360 deal, or whatever kind of deal it is, and they decided to chase the person. They decided to go after what the person said that they will offer them. They decided to go, after what the person said that they can do for them. But what they didn't do was chase the dream. And sometimes, it can be misleading. Sometimes we make mistakes, but that's what we're here for. Awareness. You can't change anything unless you are aware of it or knowledgeable of it. So what I'm saying is, chase the dream. Don't chase people. Number two, if you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small mind. Like when you talking about new ideal, when you talking about that new logo, when you got this new bright ideal and you just want to talk to somebody about it, you just want to talk to somebody who you feel that's going to take it serious, somebody who you feel that's going to allow you to, expand, and like you expect for them to kind of agree, right? Like you expect for them to be like, hey, I think this is dope. You want to tell your girlfriend, or you want to tell your boyfriend, or for some of you guys, you want to tell your wife or tell your husband, but they just seem like they just not into it, not happy for you, or they just not into it. It's like, oh, that's what's up, or nah, I think you should do this, and it's one thing about giving constructive criticism, but it's another thing when they're just straight criticizing. They're not trying to show you how you can make it better. They're not saying what they like about it. They're not saying like something they're not saying anything positive. Everything is pessimistic. You know, like nothing is optimistic. Everything is straight pessimistic. You know, so like it can be, and it don't even gotta be those type of individuals. It can be friends. It can be best friends. It can be, you know, siblings. It can be family. It can be anybody. You know, associates, co-workers. It can be anybody. And when you tell them that dream, you know, that's equivalent to having an abortion, because your dream is a baby. So when that baby is inside, that fetus inside that womb, it's not fully developed, but it's there. That's the same thing with your dream. You know, your dream it's not, the idea that contributes to your dream is not fully developed, but it's there. It's in your mind, it's in your heart, it's in your soul, it's in your spirit. So when someone is telling you, nah, I don't think that's it, they just killed your baby. Especially if you accept it. They just killed, you know, your idea. So don't chase people, chase the dream. And don't tell a big dream to a small-minded individual. I mean, that was just something that was just on my mind. So I just wanted to, you know, relay the message and let y'all know, like, that's not the move. You know, you got to keep that rich mentality. You got to keep that rich mindset. Most time, people who don't have anything, you know, going on, they want you to have the same thing. You know, most times, people who are not doing anything, they want you to do it with them. Most people who are not going anywhere, they want you to go with them. So it's the crab in the barrel mentality. You know, it's the fact of you have something that they don't. You have an idea that they don't. And you have to realize that everybody don't mean you well. Just because you sleep with them, that doesn't mean that they're your best friend. Sometimes you could be sleeping with the enemy, but the thing is, you want to keep that rich mentality, and sometimes you got to keep that dream away from them. You got to keep that idea away from them. And that's just one of the main things that I just, you know, had on my spirit to let y'all know. So, you know, got to keep that rich mentality. Now, the main thing that I wanted to speak about today is building wealth. You know, there's 5 pillars of building wealth, right? And it's so many more. You know, some people say it's 7, some people say it's 10, but, you know, we're going to condense it to 5, right? Like, you got 5 ways to build wealth, and we're gonna start, like, you know, directly to it. So, number 1, your environment. This is number 1. So, you know, who do you contact? You know, your locations. You know, what are you watching? What are you listening to? So, I'm gonna, you know, elaborate on those things. So, if you look in your phone, who's the last person you talked to? If you look in your call log, who's the last person you talked to? You know, if you look in, you know, the last place you went, you know, check your locations. You know, we like to share locations and stuff like that. Where's the last place that you went? When you look in your Facebook or your Instagram or, you know, whatever social media you use, what are you using, or what are you feeding yourself? Right? Like, all of that is like part of the environment. You know, you change the environment, you change the man. You change the environment, you change the woman. So what I'm saying is that, what is your environment like? That's number 1. Like, really sit down and, like, get a pen or a paper and just analyze, what is your environment like? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Like, where are you going? You know, who are you talking to daily? Do you got millionaires on your call log? You know, are you contacting millionaires, or are you having conversation with millionaires? Are you at least watching motivational things that the millionaires do, or the people who you desire to be like or inspired to be like? So what is your environment like? You know, you definitely want to analyze that, you know, for one of the 5 pillars of wealth, right? So another thing, spending habits. You know, spending habits. And don't worry, like, we all have to check ourselves, including me. You know, I have to check myself as far as, like, what are you spending, bro? Like, what are you putting your money towards? How much are you spending of it? Like, I read a book entitled The Automatic Millionaire, and he was speaking on the latte effect. So the latte effect is when you go to a store. Say you may be working a job, or, you know, you may be working a job, you may be going to school, you know, whatever you're doing, and the latte effect is something that costs about, you know, $3-4. You know, a latte typically costs about $3 or $4, and it could be more, but we say, oh, don't worry about it, man. It's just $3-4. Oh, don't worry about it. It's just $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. Like, don't worry about it. But what happens is it adds up. So it calls it the latte effect. So my question to you is, what is your latte effect? Like, or what is your latte? What do you spend money on daily? Is it lunch daily? Do you spend $10 per day? Because if you spending $10 per day, 6 days a week, that's $60 that could have been saved. Now, if you got it like that, okay, cool. But if not, then take into consideration of what are you spending? Like, what are your spending habits? Like, where's your money going? Is it going directly to food? Is it, celebrating, continuously celebrating? Like most of us, as soon as we get our check, we got to go get a bottle. As soon as we get our check, we got to go to the club. Soon as we get a check, we got to go out with our friends. But what are we celebrating? Are we celebrating success or are we celebrating failure? Right? Because I feel that, and the same thing go for me. Like, I feel that the only time we really should celebrate is if it's something super important, but not every time we get paid. Like, do you got $500,000 in the bank? At least $1 million, $5 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, $1 billion, whatever the case is, to where you can go on a yacht and really have fun. To where you can really enjoy the fruits of your labor. But just getting the $400-$500 check every week, $600-$700, even $1,000 every week. Why are we spending more than what we're making? So you really want to look at your spending habits and see exactly what you're spending. So that's number 2, your spending habits, right? And most of us, when we're looking at our spending habits and when we're saying our spending habits, be realistic about what's actually going on, like with your spending habits. Actually be realistic. Because if you're analyzing it and saying, oh well, I can actually, put this towards it, or I really don't spend money like that, but you spend $200 on extra additional on food. Come on, like, you got to really analyze it, the correct way. So number 3, of building wealth, you gotta set goals. But what type of goal am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is raise your zero. And in order to raise your zero, you have to identify and be aware of what your zero is. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so what I mean is how much money that has to be in your bank account before you realize that, oh, I'm at zero. So is it actually zero? Is it $200? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Is it $5,000? Is it 25? Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 250? So what I'm saying is that whenever you say that, oh, I'm about to have $0, that ain't finna have nothing left. How much do you have to look at in your account before you realize that, oh, I just don't have it right now? So most of us, we look at our account, we see $500, we like, oh, bet I got $500. But if you have a zero of 500, when you hit $500, you're at zero. That's how the rich stay rich. Like, when some people see, and this is at the upper echelon, level or caliber, when some people see that, man, all I got is, I'm down to my last, million. To most of us, we like, oh, we got $1 million. What we doing? Like, we finna go turn up. What we finna do? But when you actually see when someone actually see their account and they get nervous when they see 1 million and they raise their zero, they on a whole nother level. When they got $1 million and they like, I got $0, I'm nervous, they on a whole nother level. So what I'm saying is raise your zero. And we don't just start from $1 million. We work our way up. We work our way up from 1,000. We work our way up to 5,000. We work our way up to 25, 50, 100, 500, to where now when we get down to our zero, we're not literally at zero. That's most of the problem. We're literally waiting until our money hit $0 in overdraft fees. So raise your zero. Broke is a condition. Poor is a mindset, right? Poor is a mentality. So right now you're tuned into the Rich Mentality Podcast. What does that mean? Well, that means that you have a rich mentality. I have a rich mentality. Anybody that's tuned into this podcast has a rich mentality. So Broke is a condition. Poor is a mentality. So is rich. So when you raise a zero, you're changing and transitioning your mentality. Which one are you? Right? So we're going to keep it moving. So number 4, your assets. What are your assets? What do you have that works for you? What do you have that makes money for you? What do you have without you having to perform? So it's one thing to, be a coach or, be a editor, and, per video, you get paid per edit. Per coaching session, you get paid, a certain fee, right? So, if you're a cosmetologist and you do hair, per head you get paid a certain fee. That's okay if you got good fees. It's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm stating is, what assets do you have? Because you're working with your hands, right? So what assets do you have that makes you money before you even have to do anything? You don't have to do nothing. It just makes money for you. Right? Like if you have a stock, if you have a cryptocurrency, do you have a YouTube channel that has videos and views and everyday people are watching it? So guess what? You're making revenue every day. Like, what is it that you're doing that makes you money without you having to do anything or without you having to perform? Right? So, some people say, well, I don't use my hands to do anything, and that's fine. But if you have to put any type of energy, effort, or performance towards that, you're working with your hands technically. So every time you work with your hands, it's not literally working with your hands. It's just the fact that you have to go out and perform for that money. You have to go out and make an appearance for that money. You have to go out and, complete one of your skills or provide a service for that money. But an asset is something that you make money from without even doing anything. So what is your assets, right? All right. Number 5, you got to have a plan. So what do I mean by a plan? So it's the steps that you put in place to achieve your dreams or your goals. It's the steps that you put in place to achieve your dreams or your goals. And your goals, like, you have to have a strategy that's set in place. I talk to a lot of people every day, and I ask, and for me, I'm an intellectual individual, so I like to understand the minds and the psychology of other individuals. So when I speak to them and I ask them, I say, what's your 5-year goal? Would you believe that almost 95% of the people that I speak with, they say, I want to have my own business, I want to be financially stable, I want to be successful, whatever the case is, I want to be self-reliant, all those things. And it blows my mind, because I'm not judging no one, but I'm looking at them and I'm saying, like, what are you doing to get towards that? Because most of these people are, in the working class. Most of these people have impoverished mindsets. But what I realize is that we're all similar. And Jay-Z stated it the best at one point. He said, we all want the same things. We all want success. We all want happiness. We all want to be successful. We all want to be at the top. We all want our own business. Some people just simply don't. But majority of the people want success and happiness and money. Most of the people want to be wealthy, rich, and happy. Most of the people want these things. So that told me that we're all similar. But what distinguishes, all of us from one another? Well, it's our mindset, right? It's our mindset. It's the mentality. You got poor people. Poor people are talking about money all day. I gotta get this. I gotta get this money. If I do this, I can make that. Rich people talk about materialistics and possessions all day. Look at my watch. Look at my car. Look at my house. Look at my wrist. Look at my shoes. Look at my clothes. Look at my wife. Look at all they talking about materialistic possessions. And the wealthy man, he talking about ideas, right? He talking about things like ideas, like how can he change the world with this idea? How can he put this idea into effect? So those are the differences that set us apart. So you got the poor man, the rich man, and the wealthy man. And all three are different. All three are different. And you got to understand that. So those are the 5 pillars of building wealth, and I'm going to recap just so you understand. So number 1, your environment. You got to be aware of what you're taking in and, you know, what you're feeding yourself. Number 2, you know, your spending habits. That's very imperative. You got to analyze that. You can't be talking about you want to be a millionaire, but you spending $10 every single day. Every day, $20 every single day. Manage your money. You will lose what you cannot manage. Number 3, you got to raise your zero. That's your goal. You got to raise your zero. What's your zero? Even if your zero is $1,000. Okay, now you got $1,000, you're broke. You got $0. So once you get another 1,000, you don't have $2,000. You got 1,000 because you raised your zero. So that means if anybody asking you for money, if anybody needs something, if you have to do anything, you at zero. And that's how you begin to build wealth, because you look at your money different. It's not the same. Because most people, again, when they get money and they see their account, they literally have $500. If they see they have $500, but if that person's zero is $500, guess what? He's at zero. So the next time, he gets another 500, he don't have 1,000. He has 500. So raise a zero, right? So number 4, your assets. What assets? What do you have working for you you don't have to go out and to perform? Money that you make in your sleep. What are your assets? What do you have working for you? And last but not least, but 5, your plan. What are you going to do, and what can you do to allow you to get to where you're trying to go, to achieve your dreams and your goals? What are you going to do? Because it's one thing to say, yeah, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to go get this. Yeah, I'm going to build a plan, and I'm going to build this. And you don't even have a plan. I'm going to build a business and I'm going to do this, but you don't even have a plan. I'm gonna make $2 million. Okay, cool, but how? What systems do you have in place? So you got to understand and realize, what are you gonna do to plan and strategize to get to where you're trying to go? So those are one of those things. So as y'all all know, on this podcast, we speak about one way to make $1 million, and I kind of touched on it earlier. It's something that I'm working on, but one way to make $1 million is to create a course, at the value of $500 and sell it 2,000 times. So whether that's 2,000 people or just you selling it 2,000 times to, whatever the case is, but $500 times 2,000 should equal up to $1 million. So what that means is, if you a coach and you teaching fitness, if you have a fitness course, it's relative. It's gonna work. If you got the right marketing strategies, the right advertising strategies, click funnels, anything that you can do to provide a service and actually provide marketing so people can actually see it, it can definitely work. Say that you're an advocate of mental health. Guess what? You create a mental health course. It's relative. It's going to work, because you can't create a course on something that you're not expert at. So you have to be, this has to be an expertise. You have to understand that, okay, when I actually put this course out, this is my expertise. Nobody can do this better than me. Nobody can tell me how to do it, because this is me. This is how I do it. When you think of Michael Jordan, nobody can teach him how to ball. Nobody can tell him how to ball. He can be coached. He can get better, but nobody can teach him how to actually be Michael Jordan. So that's the same thing with your course. Nobody should be able to tell you about your course, because this is you. You have to understand that when people buy your course, it has to be, number one, valuable. Because when people actually take their money and put it into, what you have to provide, and you consider it as value, it's something that can impact them, they're going to take their money and they're going to expect, not hope, but they're going to expect that you can give them, what they need for what they pay. So understand that, creating a course can definitely make you $1 million if you set it at the value price of $500 and sell it 2,000 times. Like, you have to understand that it's simple math. Create value. Create a solution to someone's problem, and you become, a wealthy person in the community. You become a valuable person in the community. So understand that, right? Next, the last thing of how I always end, the podcast is the gem of the day. And the gem of the day is, you got to become a walking billboard. So what I mean by becoming a walking billboard, well, if you don't have your clothing on, if you don't have your clothing brand on, if you don't have anything that got something to do with whatever you promoting, you're not being a walking billboard. You got to invest into your clothing brand. You got to invest into your brand. You got to invest into your business. Whatever you should be. Okay, so a lot of us say, well, we don't got nobody to, rock our clothing, or nobody to support my brand, or whatever the case is. But all right, cool. I understand that. But you can. You can invest into you. You can wear your clothes. You can go out here and market your stuff. Nobody's going to market you, better than you. Nobody's going to be able to advocate for you better than you can advocate for yourself. So what that means is be a walking billboard. Put your stuff out here on the, put yourself out here. Put your clothes on your body. Be a walking billboard. Keep your business cards on you. Keep your book on you if you're an author. If if you have your clothing line, keep your clothes on your body. Whatever video you do, put that on. You got to be a walking billboard. So that's definitely the gem of the day. And as a conclusion, I definitely appreciate everyone that came in and always come in to tune into the channel. Definitely catch, the books that I have that you see on the screen. Fairly Unequal, Rich Mentality, Traumatized by Love, all good books. And definitely, tune into the course. The course is definitely something that you should rock with if you're gonna be if you plan and aspire to be a self-published author and want to be able to make about 10 grand a month, which means that you want to become a 6-figure earner. Tune into the course. It's only $500. It's gonna come with a clothing. It's gonna come with the clothing. It's gonna come with the course. It's gonna come with the book as well. It's a lot. So it's a lot of things that it's gonna come with. Everything will be in the link, below, so you can definitely check that out. If you're new to tuning in, I appreciate you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Always tune in, and also, guys, let me know, some things that you probably want to hear, come from me and want to hear me talk about it. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Tune in and let me tune into you. Also, this is the Hub of Wealthy Minds, so keep a rich mentality. Peace.